Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for a brand new Film Fanatic show. It is 10/27, February 18th. It's Wednesday, hump day. Hope everyone's doing good. Um, so, yeah, I've had this week off from February break from school, and it's been pretty good, pretty busy. I've been doing some rehearsals and some I'm gonna be actually doing a little bit of recording. Gonna be doing some overdubs for the Osmia record that is gonna come out at some point later this year, and gonna do some percussion overdubs. I think so. It should be interesting. They're gonna do mainly guitar, I think, and some vocal things, but mainly some guitar things. And then originally, originally we finished the main part of the recording, I guess, in around Thanksgiving, late Halloween ish season, and so we were just kind of picking away, or those guys were picking away at things and doing some overdubs, doing some guitar overdubs and some other things. There was a couple of snafus that happened because we had to kind of move the studio around, but I hadn't actually been involved with the studio recording anything in quite a while. So they made the suggestion that I come today to first just kind of hang out and then come and maybe do some overdubs with some percussion. So I was like, all right, cool, that sounds great. And so we're gonna do that today. And then been rehearsing for a few shows coming up. This Saturday we have our big Quantum show with Hall Zeke. So at Hey Sailor, so I'm really excited about that. And other than that, been watching a lot of movies and shit like that. So I just uploaded a show on a movie I just totally discovered on the beautiful Blu-ray edition of Night of the Demon, which is pretty much, I think, hands down the best Bigfoot movie ever made. It's just so awesome. And the producer of that film, Jim L. Ball, there's a really great interview with him on that on the special features. The special features on Night of the Demon are just some of the best I've ever seen. There's a really great interview with Jim L. Ball, and he was the producer of that movie, and really interesting guy. And he had worked on another movie that was super uber low budget and pretty old from 1964, Fraternity of Terror. And so I just uploaded a show for that, and so check that out. Pretty excited. Um, just watched it for the first time, and it's definitely one of the most low budget, down in the depths kind of underground films I've ever seen. But I really liked it. It was really original, especially towards the end. Yeah, very cool. So I just uploaded that video. Now that I think of it, I hope I spelled the name right. I kind of feel like I screwed up and the title spelled the name wrong, but I think I did. But anyway, so I can probably edit it if I need to. But anyway, the other thing I did this morning, which I've never really been, well, I should say I just never have watched them. I definitely haven't watched them. I've heard about, well, I've seen a few, but I watched a fan made movie this morning that I heard a lot about, and it's called Never Hike Alone, and it's basically a fan made film, and it's an hour. It's less than an hour, and it's a Friday 13th movie essentially. And fan made movies, I don't know. I've always had a hard problem watching them. I don't know. There were quite a few years ago that I randomly had seen like bits and pieces of them, and I was like, it's not really my. And I love low budget crap, so I was surprised that it wasn't really into it. But it just, I don't know. There's the whole fan made film kind of industry, if you want to call it that, is massive. I mean, there's so many fan made movies now that are parts, tied to or based on, you know, so many horror franchises. Halloween, I mean, the list goes on and on. There were a bunch of Friday 13th movies as well. I remember seeing quite a few years ago a few like kind of fan made films on Nightmare on Elm Street, and I don't know, I didn't really like them. They didn't keep my interest. And then I did start watching this one about Batman that was pretty decent. That's something I want to explore. But I heard about this one movie called Don't Hike Alone, and I saw a couple of reviews for it and a couple of YouTube people that I really like and watch fairly often said that this fan made movie, was like actually really awesome. And the guys who made the movie just kind of put it up online. It came out in like 2017, and I heard about it a couple of times, and then I looked up some reviews for it, and it all sounded kind of interesting. So I watched it this morning. It's less than an hour, and it was really good. I was really impressed. And I'm going to do a review for it at some point. I was really impressed. There's a second one too that I really want to watch, and it's easy to get through. It's only an hour, but I was really impressed. And again, the first thing I thought was like, man, I wish studios would do things like this, like bigger studios where they would take some real big swings and take some big chances, especially with franchises. That being said, I mean, I love the Friday 13th franchise. It's my favorite franchise, and I just saw part 3 in the theater. But, they do follow a certain formula, although I do think I love the movies to death, and I do feel that they do take some big chances with some of the movies. But generally, I felt, a lot of franchises, um, you know, kind of play it safe and don't like really, try to think outside the box. Because there's really, with a lot of imagination and a little bit of money, there's a lot that you can do with some of these beloved characters, like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Leatherface, and the list goes on. And my first reaction after watching this fan made movie, I was like, man, why can't studios get behind stuff like this? Like, it was wild. But anyway, stay tuned. There'll be a review for that. Um, but today's show is going to be a kind of memoriam show, tribute to one of my favorite actors. Uh, he's been in some of my favorite movies and my some of my favorite movies of all time and my favorite movie of all time. And I have so many memories of seeing his movies, and that is Robert Duvall. He just passed away yesterday. He was 95 years old. Just amazing. What an amazing, amazing career. So I wanted to do a show, obviously, because, as a fan of movies, I mean, there's just there's an endless amount of movies that he was in that were just so iconic and really meant mean so much to me and meant so much to me at the time. And, you know, just one of the greatest actors of all time. And he always had a sense of integrity, the quality of films that he was in, where he acted in so many great films, also was a director for a while. So, I mean, action movies, all kinds of films, westerns, dramas. I mean, just so damn good. So I wanted to do a show and talk about Robert Duvall because one of my favorite actors of all time. So I guess since I'm going to be talking about Robert Duvall, I should just dive right in. So again, I've done multiple shows on this. I do need to get an upgrade. It's I don't know why I don't. I have a Blu-ray edition, or actually I should say a DVD edition. I have the box set that came out, I don't know, like 15 years ago. The Godfather box set. It's got all three movies. It's really, really good, and there's hours of special features, but I don't know why I haven't bought it on Blu-ray. I need to. But The Godfather is my favorite movie of all time. I've done multiple shows on it. And came out in 72. Robert Duvall is just absolutely incredible in that film. I mean, what hasn't been said or what can be said about that movie? It's just such a masterpiece. So yeah, Godfather. And again, I've talked so much about that movie, and I need to get an upgrade. I have no idea why I don't. It's such an incredible film. 1972, Robert Duvall. I mean, the cast again is amazing. Another just absolute classic film that he was in was Lonesome Dove, 1989, which was originally a TV series. One of the best westerns ever. Um, Another movie that again is a movie that is so important to me and one of my favorites. And it's also a movie that as far as being a movie collector, and I know I talk, you know, it's always been a thing, but especially as of late, I'm always talking about, trash cinema and exploitation movies, which is my favorite. My favorite. It's my jam. It's my favorite thing. But I do love other films. I do love other styles. I love big epic films. I mean, The Godfather. I mean, so. But my favorite, I feel like as a collector, my most prized possession that I have, which I think is the best Blu-ray that I have. It looks the best. It's got the most incredible special features. Just the whole thing, and that is Apocalypse Now Redux, the extended version of Apocalypse Now with, of course, Robert Duvall. One of the most powerful uh, and intense films ever made in the history of cinema. Yeah, and I got a chance to see the when quite a few years ago when the Redux version came out, the extended version. I did get a chance to see it in the theater, and that was one of the greatest film going experiences I've ever had, and it might be the greatest experiences I've ever had as far as seeing it in the theater. It was absolutely incredible, and it was quite a few years ago, so it was actual many. It was actually many years ago, and so it was actual film as well. It was absolutely stunning, and just it. I remember when I first saw Apocalypse Now, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It just blew my mind, you know. And I would say, out of all of the incredible films that he's done, um, those are, I would say for me. I mean, again, there's so many great films that Robert Duvall was a part of. I'd say for me, probably Godfather and Apocalypse Now were like the top. So Secondhand Lions. I mean, again, he did comedies. He did all kinds of things. Secondhand Lions in 2003. I think one of the best westerns as well. Open Range with Kevin Costner. I really love that movie. That's a really good movie. I think it's one of the best films that Kevin Costner ever directed. It's from 2003. Amazing film. He was also in another movie that's pretty awesome called Falling Down with Michael Douglas, which is a movie I want to revisit again. I really want to watch that movie again. I had not the best experience watching it a few years ago. I kind of thought it wasn't as good, but it is a really great movie. And that came out in 1993 with Michael Douglas. Tender Mercies. I've only seen that movie once, and it's been forever, but just an incredible film. 1983. Geez, the list is like it's like a road paved in gold when you look up the films he was in. Just one after another. Days of Thunder, 1990. He was also in The Godfather Part Two, which is, probably the greatest sequel in history, in movie history. He was in To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, just insane. 62. Um, God, just unbelievable. And he was also in, which is a movie that blew me away, and it was the first movie I ever actually saw in Maine when I came to Maine. And I remember driving in this blinding snowstorm. I didn't know anybody, and I wanted to go to the movies. And there used to be this amazing film or movie theater in Camden, Maine called Bayview Cinema, which is long gone now. But it was an incredible theater, and I remember going there to see The Apostle, which came out in '97. That was directed by Robert Duvall, and he also starred in it. And that movie is just incredible. That movie is such an amazing film. I'm not sure what else he directed after that. I don't know if he did. That's a really good question. But The Apostle is just like, oh man, that's it's one of the most powerful movies. Broken Trail in 2006. Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage. Um, he was also in Colors with Sean Penn, which is a fucking awesome movie. I'd love to see that again. 90, or sorry, 88. The Great Santini, another classic Robert Duvall film, 79. Deep Impact he was in, 89. MASH, 1970. Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise, which is actually a really great movie, 92. Geronimo, An American Tale, 83. And one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made, and also the first movie that George Lucas ever directed, THX 1138 with Robert Duvall. One of the greatest science fiction movies ever made that I feel is so underappreciated, and it's never talked about, but it's one of the best, I think, easily one of the best science fiction movies ever made. It's super bleak, but man, it is amazing. It's got some of the best like chase scenes in it, as and Robert Duvall is super young in it. Amazing film. Another just amazing. I mean, just one after another. Every movie I've mentioned is just out of control. Sling Blade, um, in '96, just unbelievable. Yeah, amazing film. Rambling Rose, '81. Wild Horses, 2018. The Eagle has landed, another classic. '76. Joe Kidd, '72 with Clint Eastwood. The Natural, another great film. Um, and '84. The Pale Blue Eye, 2022. Assassination Tango in 2002. Um, Also, John Q, 2002. A Night in Old Texas, 2013. The Road, 2009, which he is incredible in that film. Viggo Mortensen. Oh, amazing movie. Network, another classic masterpiece, 76. He was in Bullet. Oh, God, man. 68. Um, Civil Action in 89. Um, The Outfit in 73. He was also in the original Killer Elite with James Caan, which is such an awesome movie. Total exploitation movie, too. There was a really terrible remake of that film with Robert De Niro. Gods and Generals, which is actually really good. I believe that was another TV movie about the Civil War in 2003. Really, really great movie. We Own the Night in 2007. I mean, Jesus. Just endless amounts of movies. I know I got to be leaving out some, but man. So I just wanted to do a show where I wanted to do a pretty direct kind of, focus on the amazing Robert Duvall. So, yeah. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace.